Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message. I deliver it every day on Ron Siegel Radio. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, anything I feel would benefit you. And let me remind you, if you ever have any more finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you, and you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990 or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are no operators standing by. I am it.
Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference. 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990. And yes, of course, we are celebrating today National Grief Awareness Day.
I got a bad feeling about this.
That's a sad one. National Toasted Marshmallow Day. Well, add some graham crackers and chocolate. We'd be just fine with that one. National Toasted Marshmallow Day. Yeah, got to look at some interesting stuff there. What's happening in the markets today? The Dow Jones Industrial Average down 106 points as we speak. NASDAQ up 433. S&P 500, NASDAQ down 433. S&P 500 down 823. 10-year Treasury down 2 basis points. Holy cow, it looks like a lot of red on the screen right now. What is happening? Well, just remember, you're looking at a day of volatility. You're going to always see extreme volatility in the markets right before holiday weekends. And when you get the holiday weekend like Labor Day, where the month of August as it is, there's a lot of the trading, a lot of the professionals are gone. They're gone, so you don't have the big volume purchases unless something major happens. But generally, you're not going to see the big trading days during the last part of August. And right before you go into a holiday weekend, the trading becomes even lighter. The lighter the trading, the greater the level of volatility, because there's just not a lot of buyers out there or sellers, people that want to buy. They're willing to pay what they have to get it. The ones that are wanting to sell, they're willing to sell whatever price. And being that there's not a lot of what they call liquidity in the market, you just don't see a whole heck of a lot going on. And that ends up meaning that we've got bigger swings on a regular basis. So you'll see some big fluctuations in the market, not to be unexpected when we have days like this or right before a long holiday weekend, especially the final weekend of summer or of this summer season. I know that you go by the calendar to look at what summer really means. When I'm talking about summer here, I'm talking about the summer season, the time when the traders are in or out of work, the time when the traders are actually doing something. So that's the issue of it. That's why the markets are doing what they're doing. That's why you see the Treasury, the yield down same time as we're watching the stock market fall. All those things are fairly common. What's happening in the news right now? And again, remember, if you're thinking about buying, selling, refinancing, restructuring a home loan, same situation is what's happening right now in that arena. Just because there's the volatility there. Now you start looking and you're saying, okay, why do you look at the news so heavily? Well, the news becomes a very important issue because when you're over a long holiday weekend, almost anything can happen, especially with this administration. Regardless of whether you like them or dislike the administration, there's always something happening. Come out with a big story positive, you might see the market take a huge jump when the markets first open on Tuesday. That could affect you. You might see the markets take a big dive depending if something happens over the holiday weekend. That happens all the time, but just seems to be with this administration, there's so much more going on in a combination of economic news, but also all of the geopolitical events. So that's just part of the reason that we bring that up, mention that to you so you have a good idea how to make money in this market. News. White House counsel Don McGahn, consequentially insider in President Donald Trump's legal storms and successes, a key figure in the administration's handling of the Rust investigation, will be leaving in the fall, the president announced Wednesday. Unlike some less amiable separations, however, Trump praised McGahn as a really good guy who has done an excellent job. The departure of Trump's top lawyer, which has been expected, will create a vacancy in one of the most critical and yet least visible positions within the West Wing. Besides dealing with special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation, McGahn has had important input on a range of issues from policy to personnel to national security. He'll remain at the White House until after the expected Senate confirmation vote for Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh, Trump said in a tweet. McGahn, a top election lawyer who served as general counsel on President Trump's campaign, has played a pivotal role in the president's remaking of the federal judiciary with young conservative judges. He also helped guide the president's selection of Supreme Court Justice Neil Gorsuch and the president's nomination of Kavanaugh, and helped oversee a dramatic rollback of the Obama-era regulations. But McGahn's time has also been marked by tumult, as he has been the main point of contact inside the White House for Mueller's investigation. He has met with investigators on at least 3 occasions for many hours. I am just throwing this out there. It would not surprise me to see McGahn replacing Jeff Sessions as Attorney General. Just a thought. CNN sprang to the defense of Carl Bernstein Wednesday after President Trump savaged him on Twitter, escalating a row of veteran journalists' role in a disputed report alleging the president had prior knowledge of the controversial Trump Tower meeting. Quote, "Make no mistake, Mr. President, CNN does not lie. We report the news, and we report when people in power tell lies," unquote. Interesting, being that we now know that they reported a lie from Clinton network or Clinton mob attorney Lanny Davis. Fascinating. Carl Bernstein, yes, he is the one from always resting on his laurels from the Watergate scandal. Goes way, way back. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo and challenger Cynthia Nixon argued over who was the stauncher opponent of U.S. President Donald Trump on Wednesday in their only debate as they battle for the state's Democrat gubernatorial nomination next month. Cuomo is seeking a 3rd term as governor.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Yep, but 3rd term as governor. Promised he would not run for the U.S. presidency in 2020, despite expectations to the contrary. Can you believe him? Again,
I got a bad feeling about this.
Cuomo described Trump, a Republican, as the largest threat faced by New Yorkers, a greater danger than climate change, extreme weather, or terrorism. Really? Pointedly criticized Trump for his anti-immigration rhetoric and desire to limit access to abortion. Quote, "Nobody has stood up to Donald Trump like I have," unquote. He said at the debate at Hofstra University on Long Island. Nixon scoffed at Cuomo's depiction of himself as a fierce opponent of the president. Fascinating. The President Donald Trump said on Wednesday the U.S. Supreme Court Chief Justice should tell the head of the National Security Court to question FBI and Justice Department officials about their use of a so-called Russia dossier as part of a collusion probe. Trump singled out Justice Department official Bruce Orr in a message on Twitter, apparently quoting a Fox News analyst. Orr is linked to the dossier of allegations of possible collusion between Trump's campaign and Russia. Secretary of Education Betsy DeVos formulating new policies regarding how universities handle sexual assault and harassment cases. The new rules would increase protections for students accused of sexual misconduct, reduce liability for colleges and universities, and encourage schools to broaden their support networks for victims, according to, unfortunately, it's the New York Times. The rules would reportedly limit accountability for schools to complaints that happened on campus and were filed through proper authorities. They would also raise the bar legally for proving a school mishandled a complaint, according to the Times. Just hours, another one of those battles within the West Wing, just hours after Defense Secretary Jim Mattis said no decision had been made on the future of U.S. military exercises with South Korea amid faltering nuclear talks with North Korea. The White House released a statement yesterday that seemed to say the, quote, war games would be on hold indefinitely. President Trump, quote, believes that his relationship with Kim Jong-un is a very good and warm one, and there is no reason at this time to be spending large amounts of money on joint U.S.-South Korea war games, unquote. The statement said, besides, the president can instantly start the joint exercises again with South Korea and Japan if he so chooses. If he does, there will be a far bigger than ever before. U.S. troops will remain in Syria until peace is at hand. People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals asked Maine officials on Wednesday for permission to build a large grave to mark the site of an August truck crash that caused thousands of lobsters to spill out onto a highway. You can't make this stuff up. PETA hopes to memorialize the countless sensitive crustaceans who were killed during the August 22nd crash in Brunswick. The animal rights group said, police said 7,000 pounds of live lobsters were destroyed. And it's suspected it was more than 4,500 lobsters that died. We got to go get those things back. You got to love lobster. Oh, well, we will continue on. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, why are existing home sales down? Should I get a personal loan? Credit card limit decreased? Why it happens? What to do about it? Reading your pay stub? Holy cow, we've got a lot to chat about today, and we are going to get to it. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, it's 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We will be back in just a few.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Did you know that banks and credit bureaus are rewarded financially if you have bad credit? And the worse your credit score is, the more money they can make off of you? How does that make you feel, knowing that banks are getting rich off of your hard-earned money? How does it make you feel, knowing that if a bank or a credit bureau makes a mistake on your credit report, they benefit from it and it hurts you? The Fair Credit Report Act of 1971 requires banks and credit bureaus to report only accurate information, and nearly 100% of all credit reports are inaccurate. If you're sick and tired of being broke and tired of being robbed by the banks, you owe it to yourself and to your family to call Rondi. Rondi is a FICO-certified credit professional and has helped thousands of people just like you get out of debt and establish great credit. Rondi's number is 855-608-1990. Again, that's 855-608-1990. Or visit creditsanitizer.com. Again, that website is creditsanitizer.com.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452.
Are you a veteran, police officer, firefighter, doctor, nurse, or teacher? If so, you qualify as one of Ron Siegel's VIP heroes, and we have rewards up to $5,000 or $10,000 when you buy, sell, or refinance a home with one of the Ron Siegel radio partners. As one of the heroes, real estate agents will rebate part of their commission. Lending partners will give a credit at closing. The title company has special published rates, and many other service providers have incentives too. All you need to do is call Ron Siegel Radio at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit VIPHeroProgram.com. Just think about what you will do with all the rebates and incentives from the partners of Ron Siegel Radio. Just call us at 800-306-1990 so we can show you our appreciation for your service.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. In the Mortgage Minute today, being brought to you by our our friends at Gold Star Mortgage. Yeah, they're the ones that are doing that for us. The only home I know of that has the Fast Pass loan approval, Gold Star Mortgage. Yes, that's the Fast Pass. That's where you get to your real estate professional will make a same as cash offer for you. That's right. You do not have to worry about the loan contingencies. You get to compete. That's the way to do it. I love that idea. It's Gold Star, the only one that I know of that has the Fast Pass loan approval. So what is happening in the Mortgage Minute today? We certainly start looking first off. You always want to look at what's happening in the markets. The Dow Jones Industrial Average down 99.53. We are going to be looking at some big changes or volatility. NASDAQ up 1.23 as we speak. S&P 500 down 7, and the 10-year Treasury down ever so slightly. Not a whole heck of a lot, not enough to really be concerned with. I would basically call that one flat. When you're down 2 basis points, it's not a real major issue. But what is happening with the bond market, the 30-year bond, on the mortgage-backed bond, yes, that is up 6 basis points, means interest rates are down just a touch. Well, we looked at what happened there. Why is it happening? Anybody can tell you what is happening. Not everybody tells you why. Could the stocks obviously started the day lower, ending their 4-day winning streak? That could change any time. This could change if the news of the U.S. and Canada could come to a deal on trade by tomorrow. Mortgage bonds slightly higher, shrugging off the slightly hotter inflation data released this morning, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Economic news, the initial jobless claims, which measures individuals filing for unemployment benefits for the first time, showed that there were 213,000 claims last week. This represented a slight increase of 3,000 from the previous report and shows that the labor market remains extremely tight and employers are holding on to their workers. This has been the dynamic for quite some time. We'll see if it translates into higher wages. That's what we would expect to see generally. If you can't find employees and you need them, what you say is, okay, I better pay a little bit more if I want to get them. I might even have to pay a little bit more to keep who I have. Last week was the sample claims week. That's the component in the jobs report for August, which will be released the first week of September. The reading was unrevised at 210,000, very strong figure, and would point to a strong jobs report. There are, of course, many factors, and this is just one small component. Been looking at the jobs report for the last 4 weeks, averaging 212,000 initial jobless claims. So we're not seeing a whole lot of new jobless claims. The highly anticipated personal consumption expenditure report, which is the Fed's favored measure of inflation, showed that inflation rose a bit in July. Headline inflation was up 0.1%, not a whole lot. Core rate strips out food and energy prices, rose by 0.2% on a year-over-year basis. The headline overall inflation rate rose from 2.2%. Core rate 1.9 to 2.0. The core rate is the Fed's primary inflation gauge and has now reached their target. So I have this question come to me all the time. I used to make fun of it, but I will share the legitimacy with you. Why do they strip out food and energy? Everybody needs it. Well, that's why they strip out food and energy. Everybody needs it. The Federal Reserve wants to know what they can influence and what they are influencing based on their policy. So they're not going to influence, they can't control food. People still have to have it, and generally the reason that you see the variances in food has more to do with weather than anything else. Fed can't control weather. Fed policy can't control weather. Okay, got it. Now the next step of it is the energy. Well, that's mostly oil prices. Fed can't control oil prices. If there's something geopolitical that happens, it happens. Nothing the Federal Reserve does will influence that. Now, all the other items can be influenced by Fed policy, so that's what they're really watching for. Right now in the mortgage market, though, the mortgage bonds are battling with their 50-day moving average this morning and are breaking above it for the time being. There is room for bonds to improve until reaching the extremely tough ceiling at 101.988. We've been watching that. We've battled that so many times already. We have not been able to break it. When we do, if we do, wow, that's going to be a real push going way up because there's a lot of room above that. The question is, can we get through it? Once you get that resistance there up on the top side, that resistance tends to be holding us back. So we've been watching it. We've been trying to get to it. We just haven't been able to get there. We'll see what happens as the day progresses. That is the Mortgage Minute, again brought to you by our friends at Gold Star Mortgage. They are the only ones with the Fast Pass loan approval, allowing your real estate professional to make a same-as-cash offer. Just think about it. The same-as-cash offer ends up getting more people looking at your property. That's the idea, is you get a better purchase price, or we hope to help you get a better purchase price by simply making that same as cash offer. So again, that is your friends, our friends at Gold Star Mortgage, having that available to you. What else is happening in the world of the markets? Pay stubs. Let's see if I can find the story on pay stubs that we wanted to talk to you about. Reading your pay stub. That is the issue that we wanted to really chat with you about this morning. Are you real aware of the factors that could be affecting your take-home pay? Well, we all heard about the Tax Cuts and Job Acts passed in December. It's probably the single biggest factor in recent memory to impact your paycheck. But do you know all the other things that play into what you take home each pay period? Well, to understand what factors affect your paycheck, we first have to define a couple of terms. You may hear net pay, you may hear gross pay, and not really know what they mean. Simply put, gross pay is the money you earn before taxes and deductions. Your net income, on the other hand, is the money you actually bring home after taxes and deductions. If you have trouble remembering which term is which, try this. Gross has 5 letters, net has only 3. Therefore, your gross pay is bigger amount you start with, and the net is the smaller amount you bring home. It's a simple trick, but it works. Now, let's take a look at the taxes called withholdings and deductions you're likely to see on your pay stub. Withholdings, while everyone's situation is different, most U.S. employees pay a fairly standard lineup of taxes that lower their gross income. Following taxes or withholdings get automatically taken out of each paycheck before you receive it. Federal income tax, Social Security tax, Medicare tax, state tax. Obviously, there's a lot of that here in this Taxifornia. Deductions on top of withholdings, there may be other deductions that automatically come out of your paycheck. While withholdings are generally mandatory, the deductions are elective, and not everyone will have the same deductions on their pay stub, but here are some of the more common ones. Insurance premiums for group medical, dental, vision, life, and or disability insurance through your employer. Retirement savings, contributions to your 401k or other employer-sponsored retirement. FSA, HSA, there are 2 flavors here. The flexible spending account are for out-of-pocket medical expenses or child care costs, daycare, babysitting. Health savings accounts, meanwhile, allow people to squirrel away money tax-free in interest-bearing accounts for qualified current and future medical expenses. The 401k loan, if you've elected to borrow against your 401k, something that we don't really advise, but sometimes it's beneficial. If you're looking to buy a house or something along those lines, then it might be beneficial to you. You'll see a line item for repayment of that loan on your pay stub. Again, these deductions are basically voluntary. Not everyone does an FSA, for example, or contributes to a 401k, though you definitely should be thinking about it if you ever hope to retire. Some recent changes to your paycheck because of the new tax law. When the tax law went into effect for 2018, the IRS had to scramble to draw up with new withholding tables for companies to follow and when calculating your paycheck going forward. So the new tax table covers most people who are paid weekly or bi-weekly, but you can view all of the new 2018 tax tables if you go to irs.gov. Look for it there. I think the document number is 1036. These withholding tax tables basically tell your employer's payroll department how much money to withhold out of your paycheck to comply with new Tax Cuts and Jobs Act that overhauled our nation's tax code. Unfortunately, a recent report from the Nonpartisan Government Accountability Office suggests around 30 million of us may owe the feds money when we file in 2019. That's because for many of us, our employers are not withholding enough out of each paycheck this year to comply with the new tax tables. Ultimately, it is your responsibility to adjust your withholding in order to account for the new tax law. The IRS has a newly updated withholding calculator to help you figure out how much you should be withholding from each of your checks. Just a thought there. In order to adjust your withholding, you simply need to fill out Form W-4. That's the form you fill out with the IRS to determine what you are withholding. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, we will be chatting about why existing home sales are down. We'll talk about that one. Let's see if I can figure out what else we've got going on here, being that my computer has apparently decided that it wants to lock up on me. Always love when that happens in the middle of a broadcast. Should I get a personal loan, credit card limit decreased, why it happens, what to do about it, all that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. On Twitter @Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Siegel Lending Team offers you buying power. Let's say you can afford a monthly mortgage payment, including principal and interest, of around $1,900. With today's rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage of 3.75%, APR 3.85%, that payment could support a $416,000 mortgage. But if you wait and rates tick up to around 6.5%, which is roughly the average home mortgage rate over the past 30 years, that same $1,900 mortgage payment, including principal and interest, may only be able to support a $314,000 mortgage. That's over $100,000 worth of home you're missing out on by waiting. That's buying power. All you need to do to get started is reach out to the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Payment example excludes taxes and insurance. Call us for full details, 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 or SiegelLendingTeam.com. Equal housing lender, licensed under NMLS number 217037.
Are you purchasing or own a luxury home? If you're like so many others, your home is your largest asset and the mortgage is your largest debt. The Siegel Lending Team has some amazing financing opportunities right now. Jumbo loans up to $2 million, 30-year rates below 4%, 15-year rates near 3.5%, and if you can believe it, 7-year interest-only hybrids in low 3s. The Siegel Lending Team has all the options for your jumbo or second home loan requirements. Take advantage of them while you can. To learn more about all the other financing products available from the Siegel Lending Team, call 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Again, call 1-800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender.
Homeowners that are 62 and older are about to find out a great way to live a better retirement. It's called a reverse mortgage, and SLT can help you learn more. Call the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990 right now to receive your free booklet with no obligation. It answers questions like how a reverse mortgage works, how much you qualify for, the ways to receive your money, and more. When you call the experts at Siegel Lending Team today, you'll learn the benefits of a government-insured reverse mortgage, how it will eliminate your monthly mortgage payments, and give you tax-free cash from the equity in your home. Here's the best part. You still own your home. Now is the best time to take control of your retirement. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 to get your free brochure. Call today or visit our website at SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Or simply call 800-306-1990.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Did you know that banks and credit bureaus are rewarded financially if you have bad credit? And the worse your credit score is, the more money they can make off of you? How does that make you feel, knowing that banks are getting rich off of your hard-earned money? How does it make you feel, knowing that if a bank or a credit bureau makes a mistake on your credit report, they benefit from it and it hurts you? The Fair Credit Report Act of 1971 requires banks and credit bureaus to report only accurate information, and nearly 100% of all credit reports are inaccurate. If you're sick and tired of being broke and tired of being robbed by the banks, you owe it to yourself and to your family to call Rondi. Rondi is a FICO-certified credit professional and has helped thousands of people just like you get out of debt and establish great credit. Rondi's number is 855-608-1990. Again, that's 855-608-1990. Or visit creditsanitizer.com. Again, that website is creditsanitizer.com.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694552.
Are you a veteran, police officer, firefighter, doctor, nurse, or teacher? If so, you qualify as one of Ron Siegel's VIP heroes, and we have rewards up to $5,000 or $10,000 when you buy, sell, or refinance a home with one of the Ron Siegel radio partners. As one of the heroes, real estate agents will rebate part of their commission. Lending partners will give a credit at closing. The title company has special published rates, and many other service providers have incentives too. All you need to do is call Ron Siegel Radio at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit VIPHeroProgram.com. Just think about what you will do with all the rebates and incentives from the partners of Ron Siegel Radio. Just call us at 800-306-1990 so we can show you our appreciation for your service.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. In the real-time real estate segment today, being brought to you by the area-trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Text NEST, N-E-S-T, to 79564. Find your dream home before someone else does. Why are existing home sales down? The latest existing home sales report issued by the National Association of Realtors revealed that home sales have decreased for 4 consecutive months and are at their slowest pace in over 2 years. The question becomes why? Ow! This has some industry leaders puzzled, considering the fact that the economy is strengthening, unemployment is down, wages are beginning to rise. This begs the question, where are the buyers? Actually, agents in the field of most communities are still seeing strong desire from prospective purchasers. They have a list of potential buyers ready to go if the right houses come on the market, and they claim it is not a shortage of demand, but is instead a shortage of inventory that is causing the market to soften. Why is there a shortage of inventory? You only need to look at the graph that I shared earlier today, talking about residential new construction. New construction sales over the last 10 years are far below historic numbers from 1995 to 2002. A recent industry report looked at building permits and concluded, quote, if construction over the past decade matched historic norms, accounting for population change, the country would have had 2.3 million more single-family home permits. That decade of not building enough homes is primary reason for the concerns about today's market. Wait. Weren't we talking about existing home sales? Well, some may argue that the National Association of Realtors sales report deals with existing home sales and not new construction, and they would be correct. However, reports have shown that one of the main reasons why existing homes are not selling is because they can't find homes that meet the needs of their current lifestyles. Historically, the upgrades in a newly constructed home were the answers to those needs. Over the last decade, however, there were fewer homes built to satisfy this move up. Consequently, there are many homeowners who stayed in their homes for a longer tenure instead of putting their homes up for sale. The bottom line, as more homes are being built, there will be more housing inventory to satisfy current demand, which will cause prices to moderate and sales volumes to increase. That is the real-time real estate segment, again brought to you by the area-trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Text NEST, N-E-S-T, to 79564. Find your dream home before someone else does. Should I get a personal loan? I hear this one all the time. I see people that are doing these things. Unsecured loans promise access to capital to help you pay off high-interest credit card debt, make improvements to your home, or take vacation, all at favorable interest rates, we hope. In reality, there's both hazard and opportunity here for potential borrowers. The key is knowing which is which, according to some money experts. Personal loans offer both hazard and opportunity. The market for personal loans is a growing one. Everyone from big Wall Street firms like Goldman Sachs and American Express to smaller fintech lenders like SoFi and Lending Club want a piece of this $82 billion market, according to the Wall Street Journal. Lenders sent out a record 1.26 billion solicitations for personal loans in the first half of 2018, according to market researcher Competiscan. Size of the loan offers range from several $1,000s to in the six-digit range, according to the Journal. One couple, profiled by the newspaper, took out a $60,000 loan at 7% interest for 84 months to pay for home renovations. So is a personal loan a good idea or a bad idea for your life? Well, the increase in personal loan solicitations is a train wreck in the making for lenders. After all, these are unsecured loans, so lenders are likely to end up with defaults. They always end up with some level of default. They just have to be prepared for it. Clearly, there's big possible hazard here for the lenders, but you shouldn't overlook the potential upside as a consumer if you've received one of the billion solicitations that have been sent out so far this year. If you have high interest debt, this is a great opportunity for you to get out from under it. Watch the numbers very closely. I just saw one that came out with an 8% per month interest rate. 8% per month. That means the loan doubles about every 9 months, 10 months. Think about that. You treat one of these personal loans as a balance transfer offer, essentially. If you can lower the interest rate on an existing debt from double digits to a single digit, that can be a key part of a thoughtful strategy for relieving financial burden in your life. Don't charge back up your credit cards, though. That's the big issue. You end up taking and paying off all the credit cards, putting it onto a personal loan, and then run the credit card bill right back up again. Not a good idea. Therein lies the rub. It would be a huge mistake, again, to pay off a personal loan with high-interest credit cards without going through some serious financial shock therapy. Yesterday, we talked about the budgeting tools. If you don't make a change, you're likely to be in a worse debt situation than you were to begin with in no time at all. Be careful, buyer beware is the commentary here. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, credit card limit decreased, why it happens and what you should do about it. All that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. On Twitter @Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We will be back in just a few.
Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Most businesses struggle to get the online reviews they need to get a competitive edge over their competition. Rex is a brand new technology that uses text messages to direct happy clients to your online review sites, Zillow, Google, Facebook, and Yelp, and unhappy clients to a private survey, so businesses can win more customers. Try Rex today by going to www.meetrex.com. Are you currently renting a home? Do you like paying someone else's mortgage payment? Why not explore the options to purchase your own home? Can you imagine a 30-year fixed-rate loan below 4.25% APR? This means with $10,500, you can purchase a $295,000 home and have a principal and interest payment of about $1,400 per month. What are you paying in rent? Does your family deserve the opportunity to take advantage of the current market? To learn more about these exciting opportunities, the Siegel Lending Team is standing by to speak with you. Call now, 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Or 1-800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender. Not endorsed or sponsored by any government agency.
Do you have a goal of mortgage-free home ownership? What if your home was valued at $500,000? Are you aware that a free and clear home could be costing you $2,500 every month, $30,000 per year? The mortgage planners at the Siegel Lending Team would like to show you how you can own your home, generate tax-free income, and accumulate family wealth. You simply need to call the Ron Siegel Team at 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990. By sending the team a copy of your most recent mortgage statement, the team will send you a no-obligation real estate plan. You be the judge if this is right for your family. Again, all you have to do is send the team a copy of your mortgage statement by email to reap@ronsiegelradio.com or call today. Ron Siegel, 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990.
Rate subject to change and without notice. Licensed by the California DOC and BRE NMLS 217037 and 145502 and Cal BRE 0186945 and 1866775.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message. I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990. The Your Credit Matters segment today being brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. You have a credit report. It is wrong. What are you doing about it? Credit Sanitizer has the solutions for you. Today, the subject in the session is credit card limit decreased. Why it happens and what to do about it. That is our subject. A sudden decrease in your credit limit can hit you when you least expect it, curbing your buying power and potentially lowering your credit score, but you don't have to let it stand. Just as credit card issuer can raise your credit limit because you requested it or the issuer wants to reward your loyalty, it can also reduce the amount you're allowed to borrow, or the reasons why a card issuer would reduce the amount you can borrow or you can charge may vary, but credit limit decreases often happen because a cardholder is suddenly seen to be at a higher risk of default. Banks can also lower credit limits for multiple customers to decrease risk exposure amid economic uncertainty, such as during a recession. Reasons for credit limit decrease. While the federal law contains some protections related to credit limit decreases, banks generally have free rein to cut your credit limit as they see fit. There are some rules and exceptions, but generally speaking, banks and issuers can increase your limit and decrease your limit without notice. They don't have to provide any explanation. A credit limit decrease can hurt your score by increasing your overall credit utilization. If you're carrying a large balance on your credit card, credit utilization accounts for 30% of your score under FICO's primary model, and a maxed out card can lower your score by 45 points. It might seem unfair to have your available credit lowered and your score damaged without your knowledge, but there are ways to get your issuer to reconsider. Knowing your rights, an issuer can make any changes it wants to your card's terms as long as that doesn't violate your cardholder agreement or federal regulations. Current law does not really insulate consumers from credit limit decreases or any resulting credit score damage. However, the Fair Credit Reporting Act requires an issuer to send a consumer an adverse action notice for any action it takes based on information contained in a credit report. So, if another person's troubled account history is mistakenly added to your credit report and your issuer lowers your available credit as a result, the issuer would have to notify you of that change. Additionally, there are certain Card Act provisions that can protect you from fees if your credit card gets maxed out as a result of a credit limit cut. Under the law, your issuer is prohibited from charging an over-the-limit fee within 45 days of the credit limit decrease if it leaves your balance higher than the new limit. But it's rare that an issuer would reduce your limit to less than what you've already charged with your card. Why would they want to do that? There may be substitutions where a credit card issuer will waive certain fees, accrued interest, or debts to facilitate implementing a lower limit for business purposes. A negative change in your credit use can spook the issuer. If you've been a responsible borrower but suddenly begin to miss payments or ring up much higher balances than you have in the past, it could raise a red flag. If you use your cards and pay them off every month and all of a sudden you start running a balance, you have changed. They're going to say, why has he or she changed? And that's why they're maybe going to cut your limit. If you keep your credit utilization at or below 30% and always pay on time, a credit limit decrease is unlikely, but maxing out a card, even if it's not from the same issuer that's reviewing your account usage, can increase the odds of a limit cut. You can't just keep one card in good standing. You've got to keep all your cards in good standing. They'll look at your use of other cards and they'll weigh it on the predictability that their card is going to be the next to be maxed out. A decline in your credit score and accounting activity are other factors that can spur a limit cut. Rewards cards may be cut. Also, if you're not using them, at the time that Bank of America dropped one's credit limit, their scores had fallen by about 5% in the time between when they got the card and when the limit dropped. Be very careful. A sudden uncharacteristic change in your credit habits doesn't necessarily implicate you. If a thief steals your card and rings up fraudulent charges in your name, that could spur your issuer to decrease your limit if not caught and reported. Similarly, an identity thief can open new credit lines in your name unbeknownst to you, and issuers with whom you already have card accounts can get spooked if those phony accounts are used for spending sprees. You got to be careful. Checking your credit reports semi-annually can help you detect any errors or fraudulent activity, which should be reported as soon as possible. A credit report mix-up can also result in a limit cut if a credit bureau mistakenly mixes your file with that of another consumer. Perhaps you have the same name. That person's troubled credit history could make you look like a bigger credit risk. Just a thought there. That is the Your Credit Matters segment, brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. You have a credit report. They're all wrong, in my opinion. What are you doing about it? You need to make those changes. So I wanted to discuss a question that came up with a private consultation yesterday. We were discussing the concept of home equity and what your value is of home equity and what the rate of return is on home equity. And I was sharing with the individual that there is absolutely a zero rate of return on home equity always. And we had to go through a little sample, and I said, you know something, I haven't talked about this on the program in a long time. Maybe we should chat about this just a little bit. The rate of return on home equity. So let's think about this, and I'm going to use some very, very simple numbers. I'm going to use a $500,000 house, and I'm going to use 5% appreciation. So think about this concept. If you have a $500,000 house, and then we've got two different columns. Let's put down a column that says we've got a $100,000 mortgage on the house, and let's put a column down for a $400,000 mortgage. So obviously the $400,000 mortgage, that means that you've got $100,000 of home equity. Does that make sense? And if you've got a $100,000 mortgage, you've got $400,000 of home equity. Just the way the math works, right? We haven't got anything fancy right there. Now, we've already said that we've got a 5% appreciation. That's a fair number in Orange County, California. 5% is a very realistic number for Orange County. In fact, I'm going to look it up while I'm chatting with you. and I'll tell you precisely what the number is if that's still on my screen here. Orange County, California, if we look at the real estate report card, we'll see what's going to tell us what the home appreciation is for Orange County, California. But let's just go back to our numbers. If you've got a $500,000 home, $400,000 in equity, that means you've got a $100,000 mortgage, and that property appreciates by 5%, well, you've got $25,000 in appreciation for that year. Now, if you go to the same property, $500,000 property, 5% appreciation with a $400,000 mortgage, and you've got $100,000 in equity, the appreciation for the year still $25,000 because it's 5% of the same $500,000. I did look it up. Median home price, Orange County, California, or the appreciation, I should say, over the last 43 years, 5.11%, 5.11. So now, think about that. So I just told you, $500,000 house appreciates 5% with a $100,000 mortgage, $25,000 in appreciation. And with a $400,000, it's $25,000 in appreciation. So that means the amount of equity you have in the house is irrelevant to your appreciation. So you've got dead equity. It's not earning you any money if it's sitting in the property, because if you had that $400,000, or $300,000, the difference between the 400 and the 100, and you're able to make 1% more than what your interest rate is, that's $3,000 appreciation in a year. You're better off having less equity in the property from an appreciation standpoint, from a financial standpoint. Now, am I saying that that's where you're better off from a emotional standpoint? No. And will FINRA like it if I tell you that you're better off from a financial standpoint to be putting that into a safe, secure investment? No, they don't like that either, because they don't want you to borrow money to invest money. But I'm just showed you exactly how you can make an extra $3,000 a year. Now do that for 30 years. Think about what that's going to do for your family and your retirement. Just a thought there for you, and that's why I share this information with you every day. That's why I ask you to set that first radio preset button to come back here every day to join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to John, who's engineering us today. And, of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We will talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.
Me over the limit, I'd like to call him something. I think I'll just call it a day. Pour me something tall and strong, make it a hurricane before I go insane. It's only 12:30, but I don't care. It's 5 o'clock somewhere.